You just bought a beautiful home in Miami for $400,000. You are moving boxes in, maybe planning where the TV goes. Then your insurance bill arrives. $12,000, not for the year. Wait, no, that is the bill for the year. $1,000 a month just for insurance, not your mortgage insurance. And Mark Cuban, the Shark Tank billionaire, went nuclear about this exact problem. He said Florida has a secret crisis nobody is talking about. And when a guy worth $5 billion starts warning people about real estate, man, you better listen. So here's what happened. A regular person in Florida messaged Mark Cuban on social media and said they had brand new houses built down there. Beautiful homes with affordable prices, but the houses were just sitting there empty. Cuban did not give a corporate response. No, he went full truth bomb mode. He said insurance costs are going to destroy Florida's housing market worse than anything else, worse than interest rates, and worse than home prices. Insurance. Think about that. The guy who has seen every business trend, who called the dot crash, who has made billions reading markets. He is saying insurance is the thing that is going to wreck Florida real estate, not hurricanes, not climate change directly. The insurance that is supposed to protect you from those things. Okay, so let me hit you with some numbers that are just insane. The average Florida homeowner is paying almost $11,000 a year for home insurance. 11 grand. You know what the next most expensive state pays? Louisiana, about $6,000 a year. So Florida is paying double what the second worst state pays. But here's where it gets really messed up. 5 years ago, these people were paying maybe $6,000 or $7,000. So we are talking about a 70% increase in just 5 years. 70%. Did your salary go up 70% in the last 5 years? Mine did not. And get this, 1 in 5 Florida households right now either do not have insurance, are underinsured, or are trying to self-insure. 1 in 5. These are not deadbeats. These are regular people who just cannot afford it anymore. They are rolling the dice that a hurricane will not hit their house because they cannot pay $12,000 a year for insurance. So Cuban understands something most people do not get yet. This is not just about high prices. It is about a death spiral that has already started. Here's how it works. Insurers are fleeing Florida, like major insurers are gone. They're saying we are out. Good luck. Why are they leaving? Because every hurricane season they're paying out billions. The hurricanes are getting worse. The water is warmer. The storms are stronger. Insurers are not stupid. They can do the math. So fewer companies means less competition, which drives prices even higher. But here's the really sick part. In some areas, you cannot get insurance at any price. The companies just will not write policies there anymore. And you know what happens when you cannot get insurance? Banks won't give you a mortgage, can't get a mortgage, can't buy the house. Can't buy the house. It sits empty. Empty houses everywhere while people desperately need homes. It is insane. Cuban called this perfectly. He said, developers are building homes people want to buy, but they are sitting empty because the insurance makes them unviable. Not unaffordable, unviable. There is a difference. I was reading about this family. They lived there for 20 years. They loved it. Their kids grew up on the beach, the whole Florida dream, right? They had to leave not because they wanted to, but because their insurance went from $3,000 a year to $9,000 a year in 3 years. It was triple. Their mortgage stayed the same, but suddenly they were paying an extra $500 a month just for insurance. And it is not just houses. After the Surfside condo collapse, older condos are being devastated. Insurers are charging huge premiums. If a building dates from 1985, the premium can be $20,000 a year. These buildings also need massive repairs to meet new codes. People are walking away from condos they own because it is cheaper to abandon them than to pay the insurance and the assessments. There is an exodus happening that nobody is talking about. In 2022, Florida gained over 300,000 new residents. Last year, 64,000. That is not a slowdown. That is a crash. People are not coming anymore, and the ones already there are leaving. You know what is really smart about Cuban's take? He says this is worse than high interest rates, and he is absolutely right. Here is why. Interest rates are painful right now, but they will come down eventually. They always do. It is a cycle. You can refinance when they drop. Your high rate today might be half that in 3 years, but insurance is only going one direction up. Why? Because Florida is not getting fewer hurricanes. The Gulf is not getting cooler. The storms are not getting weaker. Every year it gets worse, which means every year insurance gets more expensive. And here is the really dark part. Even if you own your house outright with no mortgage and it is paid off, you still need insurance. You can opt out, but then one hurricane and your entire life savings is gone. So you are trapped. You own your home free and clear, but you are still paying $1,000 a month just to keep it insured. Cuban sees the dominoes that are about to fall, and it is terrifying. First domino, people cannot afford insurance, so they cannot buy homes. Second domino, if people cannot buy homes, prices have to drop. Third domino, if prices drop, current owners can become underwater on their mortgages. Fourth domino, if owners are underwater and paying insane insurance, they walk away. Fifth domino, mass foreclosures. But wait, it gets worse. Florida's entire economy runs on real estate. No state income tax means they rely on property taxes. If property values crash, tax revenue crashes, services get cut, schools suffer, roads do not get fixed, and all the retirees who move to Florida with their life savings tied up in their house, they are stuck. They cannot sell because buyers cannot get insurance to buy. They cannot afford to stay because insurance keeps rising. They are literally trapped. Here's what Cuban is really saying without saying it directly. Parts of Florida might become unlivable, not because they are underwater, not because of hurricanes, but because you cannot economically justify living there anymore. When insurance costs more than your mortgage, when you are paying $15,000, $20,000 a year just for the privilege of hoping your house does not get destroyed, at what point do you just leave? This is already happening. There are neighborhoods in South Florida where half the houses are for sale and they are not selling. Buyers do the math. Mortgage plus insurance plus flood insurance plus homeowners association fees, and they realize they would be paying $5,000 a month for a $400,000 house. That math does not work. It will never work. Cuban is basically telling us Florida has a ticking time bomb, and it is not climate change in 20 years. It is insurance costs right now today getting worse every single year. So here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Mark Cuban just called out the beginning of the end for Florida real estate as we know it. This is not about market cycles or interest rates or any of that normal stuff. This is about a fundamental breakdown of the system. You cannot have a functioning real estate market when insurance costs make homes unviable. You cannot have a state economy based on property when the property becomes uninsurable. You cannot have the Florida dream when that dream costs $1,000 a month just to not lose everything. The scariest part, Cuban is not some doomsday prepper. He is not trying to crash Florida's market. He is stating facts. And when one of the smartest money guys in America tells you there is a massive problem, there is a massive problem. Florida's insurance crisis is not coming. It is here right now. And according to Mark Cuban, it is about to destroy